All right, everybody, welcome to the Beard and the Bookie. As you can see, that is not the beard. The beard is on baby watch, as you would know if you've been following us on Twitter. But it's called the Beard and the Bookie, so I couldn't just bring in anybody. I had to bring in somebody else with facial hair. So instead of the beard, it is the stash. Anthony Chico is with us here today, and he's usually bothering us in the chat, but we let with a stash like that, he's allowed to be on camera. And, so we're going to dive in on a whole bunch of stuff. The Deshaun Watson rumors have picked up. What you got? Something falling from the ceiling back there?
No, I was just trying to I was going to do that, but the top of my ceiling looks disgusting.
Yeah. So the Deshaun Watson rumors have picked up. We'll hit on that. Orgeron is out at LSU. We'll dive into that. Simmons is a baby back bitch. We'll dive into that. All kinds of stuff. So the NBA started tonight, actually started last night. Carmelo apparently forgot how to shoot a free throw. That was interesting. But the Lakers lost, which I guess was surprising to some, wasn't surprising to me. Bucks blew out the Nets, also not surprising. We got games going on now. The Bulls just won against the Pistons. So, Chico, I'll ask you, is there anything you are looking forward to here at the start of the NBA season?
Mainly Suns fan that I am. I'm looking forward to seeing if they can repeat and get back to the finals. Hopefully they can. I'm more interested in seeing how Russell Westbrook and LeBron are going to mesh together. I keep hearing, well, Russell's older. He's more mature. He's going to be able to play with LeBron. But if you're that same type of player for this many years, are you really going to change? But other than that, I'm just excited basketball's back. I don't watch it as much, but it's just, something to watch during the season.
Westbrook did not look good last night. A lot of turnovers, couldn't shoot the ball real well. That team is going to take a while to mesh. Had we been able to do the show yesterday, I would have advised. And if you can still get it, I would advise that you hop on Lakers under season win total. It was in the low 50s, I believe, before yesterday. They're not going to get there. By the way, the beard is in the chat. So obviously baby is not popping anytime soon, at least not now. Maybe if the baby pops while we're doing this, we can get live play-by-play.
That would be fantastic.
But
that baby has a mustache. My bad.
But yeah, so Lakers under. Bulls won tonight. I'm on Bulls team win total over for the season. I think they'll be a mid 40s win team, be a playoff team. That's a good team. It's a lot better team now. It's not all on Levine's shoulders. They brought DeRozan in. They have Lonzo to kind of run the point. Caruso, who LeBron will miss immensely now that he is gone, fortifies the backcourt defense. They looked pretty good. A very low-scoring game, surprisingly, against the Piston team without number one pick Cade Cunningham, who's out. But they won that. I am looking forward to seeing, as you know, Chico, I am a Gonzaga fan. So I'm looking forward to seeing Jalen Suggs. I'm not sure he was scheduled to play tonight. I know he has some sort of illness, but Suggs is a guy that I think a lot of people have talked about. Cade Cunningham and Jalen Green for Rookie of the Year. I think Suggs is definitely a guy that could win Rookie of the Year and might be a front runner because Cade will get off to a slow start just with the injury. That Rocket team is young, so Jalen can't necessarily be the guy. I think everybody will kind of look for shots. Whereas I think even though the Magic are young too, guys have been there for a few years, so they may defer to Suggs a little more as far as running the show as opposed to other places.
Yeah, totally. I mean, Suggs is good. I liked him at Gonzaga. I don't pay attention to much high school players coming out for basketball, so when he was there to see him play, I was pretty amazed. You're right. With the Orlando Magic being a young team and with him on it, they might be a team that could be on the bubble of the playoffs. I know they got rid of a couple of guys last year in a trade, I think, to Denver, but I really like this kid. Plus, his uncle did play at ASU. His uncle is, or cousin is Terrell Suggs. So, he's got some athletes in the bloodline there.
Sixers are opening on the road against the Pelicans. No Zion. Zion has a bit of a weight issue apparently, and not working out much. He's looking like Eddie Lacy did that year. He showed up to training camp for the Packers, so that's not good for the Pelicans. So no Zion tonight. Right now, there's under 10 minutes to go. Sixers have a 6-point lead. Obviously, no Ben Simmons either. Ben Simmons took the "I'll show up so I don't get fined" approach, but forgot that he actually had to participate in order to not get fined, and ended up getting thrown out, suspended for tonight's game, and still fined. So what did Ben do? Well, Ben showed up to the first practice in sweatpants, cell phone in the pocket. I know when I used to practice, I always had the cell phone in the pocket, so that's natural. Team got in a group, didn't want to be a part of it. He just looked completely despondent the entire time. So then the second day of practice, apparently they were going to run a scrimmage or defensive drills. Doc told him to get in. Simmons said, nope. And Doc said, cool, leave. And then apparently a report came out that Ben has said to people in the complex or whatever, that he's not mentally prepared to play. What a shit show. What a shit show. And here's the thing. Okay. Ben has taken this where I could tell you this is both of their faults. And now he's purely put it on his side. Because, dude, we all know you're there for the money. That's just fine. But go out there and play. And then you'll get what you want because they'll get you out of there. Being a crybaby, spoiled brat doesn't entice anybody to now trade for you. But, again, the Sixers have to bear blame in this too, because last year when everybody was sitting there going, well, Ben needs to learn how to shoot free throws and Ben needs to learn how to just shoot in general, Doc was sitting there telling people, well, I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, this guy's a hooper. This guy can do everything. And then when he didn't want to shoot under the basket against Atlanta in the playoffs, somebody asked Doc, can this guy be your point guard for a championship team? And Doc was like, I don't know. That's when it all goes down. You can't tell me I don't know anything and then tell me he can't be the point guard for a championship team. And you can't expect to say that out loud to the media and not have Ben, whose ego is about as fragile as a piece of glass, not feel some type of way. So this whole thing is just a cluster. And now Ben is trying to take his ball and go home, but also try and get his money in the meantime. That's not how this is going to work. I don't expect him to be there Friday for the home opener against the Nets either. Something we'll talk about soon. We have an announcement on that. But, this whole thing is just – they couldn't make it any worse.
Yeah, so that whole scenario has been bad since the playoffs when he just fell apart and couldn't do anything. You guys 6'10", and you can't score on Trae Young, who tops at 6'3"? It's scenarios like that where you start looking at the process. Is this going to be something that you can go with in the future? And obviously it's not going to work out for them. And Doc too, had that one championship with Boston with 3 Hall of Famers, went over to the Clippers, had a couple runs with maybe 1 Hall of Famer on the team. I don't think Doc can win with just regular guys or with young players. I think Doc's just not that good of a coach, and Ben just needs to get shipped out and, I don't know, play power forward or something.
Adam Silver was on TNT last night, and they asked him about the whole situation, if the league would potentially do something. The league, if you remember, during that whole process horse crap, the league had to step in and put somebody in place to run that team because it was just a cesspool. So Silver basically went with the idea of, the team has as many options as Ben does. That's why we have contracts, and he's not. The team can fine him. He's not getting paid. And, if he withholds services, then they can withhold his pay and blah, 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 blah. This is becoming a recurring problem in the league. Okay, we had James Harden do this last year when he wanted out of Houston. He decided to be lazy and fat and just, he attempted to, at least he showed a little bit of effort, and then Houston got him out of there. All right, Ben's going with I'm just not going to do anything and thinking that's going to work. But, the NFL was worried about this for a little bit. Remember when we had, like Aaron Rodgers this past offseason, we've had other guys try and assert a little bit of power, because they've seen NBA guys start to do it. And I think Adam Silver has to do something and talk to these owners as far as doing something more so that this isn't a recurring theme. You don't want a situation. This can't be the transfer portal. This can't be, I'm upset about my situation and now you need to get me out of here. All right. It's not that easy. They have to do something that prevents this situation from happening over and over and over again. And it's not just, it's not a Marvin Bagley situation where, the Kings don't want to start him. And here's Marvin Bagley, who happened to be the number 2 pick when in a top 5 where he is the worst of the 5 and he's upset. Okay. Marvin Bagley is not a star player. Okay. But when you're talking about the James Hardens and I'm not sure I would call Ben Simmons a star, but he has that potential. I mean, he is an all-star. When you're talking about these guys and it happening every year, that is a problem, and you need to do something to stop it.
Yeah, the NBA has been really – you notice it like in the past, LeBron kind of like these superstars are starting to be able to do what they want almost, I feel like, and the ownership really can't do much because no one cares about the owners. They're coming here to see the players, the all-stars, and, the fat suit they said that James Harden had on last year. But yeah, like I don't know too much other to say. Like you pretty much hit everything on the head there.
By the way, as far as the Eli Manning comment in the chat, Eli told the Chargers from day one that he never wanted to play there. Okay, so that was kind of the Chargers' issue to then draft him. It wasn't like Ben was coming out of LSU, which, by the way, I feel like he played there for a second. Okay, he might as well have been in blue chips with Shaq for as long as he played at LSU. Nick Nolte could have been his coach. The Chargers chose to draft Eli knowing that Eli didn't want to play there, and then obviously made the deal with the Giants and whatnot. So this isn't the same situation. I mean, we had other guys, especially in the NFL, who have found their way out of situations, especially in the draft. I mean, this is a newer trend in the NBA.
You don't really see it that much either in the NBA when guys get drafted because, it's just not very common. And later on, when they become superstars, you start seeing them, demand more or I want out or bring this guy in if you want us to win situations.
I would say it's funny because the narrative has changed. We were so worried about super teams, and big threes and all this stuff. And now all of a sudden we're not so much thinking about that as we are everybody wanting out of situations and what domino effects there will be. Speaking of, I didn't call Simmons an idiot, but he is. So we'll switch to the other idiot, Kyrie Irving. He goes on Instagram and proceeds to rant for 20 minutes about his unvaccinated self and how the league is basically trying to force him, if he wants to play basketball. Well, yeah, that's kind of what jobs do. They force you to do certain things so you work. I mean, little things. But anyway, so some of the things Kyrie said on this Instagram was he only gets one body and they're telling him what to do with it. Sounds like a Me Too movement. Just going to put it out there. He's still uncertain about a lot of things. I'm pretty sure you have a training staff and medical people on the team, as well as a plethora of doctors that I'm sure you could reach out to because, well, you're wealthy. So you could get all the information you could possibly want about this if you were really that interested. So I don't know what you want to know that you still don't. Let's see. Oh, he said, we just came out of one of the craziest pandemics of all time. I'm sorry, are we out of it yet?
No, I don't think we are. And how many pandemics has Kyrie been in?
I was going to say, like, I know that Kyrie lives in a different state than I do, and some states are a little more open than others. You know, here's to you, Texas. But yeah, I don't. Last time I checked, we're not out of it yet. Just, you know, I mean, Colin Powell just died from COVID. How are we out of it?
Rest in peace.
He said, people love to have my name in the mix of some bullshit. You're also the one that said the earth is flat. So,
I mean, ever since Kyrie left Cleveland, he's been kind of trying to find his own way or make people think that he's different, I guess. I feel like the way he comes about it is just like he's trying to push himself far away from the whole I was LeBron's number 2 while I was in Cleveland. Like,
well,
let me start acting crazy.
He had a chance to do that when he went to Boston, and look how that worked out.
Didn't work out. Would have been better if he kept Isaiah Thomas in his one hip.
That's a whole other issue. I remember there's somebody that we both know that was a big Isaiah Thomas truther.
Is this guy that has a hip problem too?
No, not the hip problem one. Lastly, I respect all the doctors working and diligently trying to find the answer. Didn't they find the answer? Isn't that what the vaccine is?
I mean, it's somewhat of an answer. You know, it's going to help a little bit for him, but I don't know. You know, if him not showing up, they can't pay him, right?
No. Kyrie's not getting paid.
It must be nice to leave that kind of money laying around, huh?
You know, they say invest wisely. Here, hold on. We have a question from the chat. Let me toss this up here to respond to it since people want to actually ask stuff. So, does Dame finish the year important? Yeah, he does. He does.
Do they make a move to get him another player there to help out? Who knows? Bring in Ben Simmons. Play him at the 5 or the 4.
Dame has enough issues with that crew. He wants to bring in that baby.
Yeah, but think about it. You go there. You don't have to be the point guard. You don't have to be the man. Dame's the man. All you got to do is do your role and get rebounds and kick it out.
The better question is, when do the Wizards move Bradley Beal?
On Christmas.
Like, that's the one that has to happen. Like, there's no reason for the Wizards to keep Beal.
Yeah.
Beal doesn't want to go to,
Wall's gone. Westbrook's gone, and Beal needs to go.
Yeah, just move it along.
But where does he go?
Move it along. Yeah. So, anything? I would say not really much from an NBA perspective. Like I said, just a whole lot of diva. Oh, one last thing. So Shaq yesterday, they're doing the top 75 players. Shaq and Barkley got into it like they always do. When Shaq basically said that he was better than Wilt. They were talking about greatest Lakers centers of all time. He said Kareem is 1, I'm 2, Wilt's 3, which Chuck then killed him for. Here's what I think Shaq was trying to say, and if this is what he's trying to say, he's absolutely right. Kareem, obviously a great Laker. He's a great player of all time. Wilt changed the position. Kareem changed the position. Okay, Wilt didn't. Wilt was kind of the big man, in the 50s, 60s, kind of played under the basket. He wasn't. I mean, when Shaq came, we had never seen anything like Shaq. Shaq was a dominant force.
You don't see a guy that big moving as fast as he did playing that position. Even now, you don't have guys that are, as massive as him. You might have guys as tall, but no one that size.
And while I am of the side that if you want to have the MJ debate, it is not MJ LeBron, it is MJ Kobe. Kobe would never have been the same without Shaq, and Shaq would not have ended up being the same without Kobe, because ultimately he goes to LA because Penny is breaking down and he knows that's not gonna last. Also, Orlando wasn't gonna pay him the big money.
Yeah.
And
Penny was coming off his second knee injury.
Yeah, I think by the time Shaq is out, Penny's got a couple of good years left. I haven't watched a 30 for 30 in a while. It's a little shaky. But,
yeah, that was a good one.
But yeah, I mean, Penny still thought it was going to run. I mean, Penny admitted he was blindsided when Shaq left. But yeah, on the other hand, you know, if Shaq doesn't go to LA, you know, who knows what Shaq ultimately ends up with? I mean,
does Shaq win?
Both
does
made
Kobe
each
win?
other.
You know,
I mean, think about those Laker teams and think about the series that they had to win those championships. I mean, those were series. I mean, series with the Kings and you know, and all of different things that were close series.
Going through the West just to get to the finals was ultimately harder than the actual finals for them most of the time.
And that's the other thing that I always bring up in the LeBron conversations. Don't ever compare the trips that LeBron has taken to the finals. And you can give me the teams, you can give me the Cavs teams about how he had nobody and blah, 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 blah. Don't compare the roads he's traveled to anything MJ or Kobe had to walk through. None of it.
Yeah, the East was way different when Jordan was out there playing. You got the bad boys in Detroit. Larry freaking Bird!
Outside of the Warrior team that LeBron played in the finals, okay? And again, that's the finals. I'll say LeBron never saw a team equal to the Knicks or the Pacers that MJ did, and he never saw a team that like Kobe and Shaq did in Sacramento or even Portland for that matter at that time. So
don't forget the Suns.
Sure, you want to throw them in there. Say Steve Nash is still sliding through the scorers table.
Those were good days. Good days. Breaking the nose back into place.
All right, so the beard is upset that we are doing this much basketball talk, so let's move on. I was going to say, you think that guy would be catching a child by now.
Just sitting there like Kirk Cousins, right?
Hopefully in the shotgun. Anyway, so let's talk about Ed Orgeron. Ed Orgeron is out at LSU 21 months after winning a national championship with Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow obviously has moved on up, unlike Ed. Ed, his career at LSU was 49-17. Since Burrow left, he's 9-8. So, yeah, no bueno.
Not good at all.
But the move is like it surprised some, but when you dive in, not so surprising when you find out some of the things that Ed's been doing on the LSU campus lately. So Ed's hiring coordinators. Then he fully admits, I didn't really interview these people. I just kind of brought them in. Like, dang. In that case, Ed, how's it going?
Should have sent in my application.
Have you ever heard of the annexation of Puerto Rico? Just saying. So yeah, didn't do that. He was recently divorced, which kind of led to a whole bevy of the next couple of things we're going to talk about. His priorities suddenly shifted from football to talking to women. There were a lot of viral photos of him in bed with different women. He was bringing women into the football operations building.
I heard he was letting like kids run drills while they're at practice.
Well, here was the big one. Here was the one that I think finally put Ed out on the outside. He was at a gas station and met a pregnant woman who he proceeds to hit on. She proceeds to tell him, well, I think he dropped the line on, hey, do you work out? We could work out together. And she proceeds to say, well, I'm pregnant and I'm married. To which he responds, what does that matter? Turns out this pregnant lady is the wife of a high-ranking LSU official. So that obviously works its way up the tree, and out goes Ed. So now the question:
dating advice from the scout?
Not even paying attention over there. So anyway, the question now is who ultimately ends up in LSU? I mean, winning doesn't tend to matter. I mean, they kicked Les Miles out when he was winning. Orgeron, although not winning lately, again, he's less than 2 years removed from a national championship, and he's out the door. Although, again, he did some things to kind of help that along. But, so who ends up at LSU?
What the heck's his name? Scott Winnington or whatever. What about Utah's coach? You spent enough time there. Why not go to a big-time school finally, see if you can win with the big boys, see if the resume can build up.
Isn't that like the Urban Meyer route?
It is. Yeah, except he went to Florida. But he's still going over to the SEC.
Well,
I mean,
I would say still SEC school. I would say we still have school. And as far as we know, Winnington doesn't have any videos of
Flecko's not. He's going to the Big 12. He's not going to leave.
I'm curious if we don't see an NFL coach go to LSU. Because when you look around the NFL, there are a lot of guys right now on very tedious seats. Okay. I don't think, as much as we've talked about it, I don't think Urban is a one and done. I think Urban actually somehow survives all of this. But there are other guys around who they're not big name NFL guys, but guys that coming from an NFL job, LSU could sell as a big hire. Because, you want to throw out college names. Who are you going to throw out? What, Lincoln Riley? No.
He's not leaving. Or the scout said Luke Fickell. He's not leaving.
Oh.
What about
okay, I can if the beard was here, I could upset him. We could start the Nick Saban leaving Alabama rumor.
That pops up in crimson and red.
That pops up once every few years.
That does, yeah. I could see. What about a guy like Kellen Moore? Great offensive coordinator right now with the Cowboys.
I feel like if Kellen Moore was ever going to ascend to a head coach and he was going to go to college, doesn't Kellen Moore just go to Boise? Like, isn't that the fit?
It is, but why go to Boise when you can go to the SEC?
Because
I hate to admit it, but they're the best of the best,
Because I don't know that Kellen, even though Kellen is offensive coordinator of the Cowboys, I don't know that Kellen is an SEC, LSU big name guy.
True.
I don't know that he fits that mold.
And then you have Eric Bieniemy? He's been linked to the SC job, with LSU coming open.
I mean, I would say Bieniemy needs some head coaching job. He's certainly not getting one in the NFL.
And it's a crime that guy does not have a job, or at least been, offered one. We got Brian Leftwich in the chat.
Somebody talking about Leftwich being the heir apparent in Tampa Bay. Well, I mean, Arians and Urban Meyer have a running bet on who's going to have the next heart problem. So, I mean, that's always.
Maybe I think Urban will. I mean, it's just it's more natural for him to do it. PJ,
Well, I mean, Urban already survived, some raucous stuff in a bar. So, I mean, if that's not proof that the heart's okay, I don't know what is.
so that's a real classy establishment, okay? Real class. PJ Fickle in Minnesota. You think he'll ever leave? Or Fickle or Feek? What's his name?
Yeah, you're right. Minnesota's not the upper end program that we think. So Fleck leaving a possibility. I mean, Minnesota certainly isn't the Minnesota from 2-3 years ago. And even though it's a move to the SEC, I mean, he's banging heads in the Big Ten now. So banging heads in the SEC isn't going to make much of a difference to him. I mean,
but if you're a kid coming in recruiting, you want to go to Minnesota where, hey, you're going to probably get beat by Ohio State, or do you want to go to LSU where there's a better chance you're going to be in the college playoff?
I could argue there, because do you have an easier path getting through the SEC or an easier path getting through the Big Ten?
Oh, you'd way easier going through the Big Ten.
Okay.
All you got to do is beat Ohio State and you're set.
I mean, the talent pool at LSU, I think that's the biggest problem, is the talent is there, or at least it should be there. And it's just not showing. So, I mean, I'm sure LSU's thought process is if we get somebody in here who gives a shit, all of a sudden this team will look like it's supposed to.
Yeah. That's all you need. If you have the talent there, but no coaching, there's nothing. It's all being wasted. You need that coach there to help get the, what are you always preaching for? I can't think of the goddamn word. Where everyone's on the same page.
Frankly, they just need a coach in there that you can understand. Does anybody understand a word Orgeron says?
I mean, no.
Okay, fair enough.
So man looks like a piece of clay that you left in the sun and then melted, and then you just threw a purple polo on him.
That's a big polo, by the way.
Oh, yeah. It's an extremely big polo.
All right. So let's talk about last week. The top 25 took some hits. Iowa took a giant crap. They let Purdue do basically whatever they wanted. Their offense, which isn't good to begin with, did nothing. And so they lost 24-7. Florida, speaking of defenses, they didn't want to stop anybody. Made Ed Orgeron's exit look godlike as he wins 49-42. We had the OK State Texas game. No big surprise there. Arkansas is just officially dead now. I thought maybe, a couple weeks removed from the Georgia game, maybe they would refine themselves. No, Auburn lays it to them.
And Nix looked good in that game too.
Don't get me started on Bo Nix. Don't do it.
Absolutely.
Oh, here we go. Is Cincinnati the real deal in college? No, they're not the real deal. They won't be in the playoffs. Don't worry about them. There you go. Yeah.
They're going to be in the playoffs, and they're going to win.
No, they won't.
Put $5,000 on it.
Oregon survived Cal. We'll get to them shortly. San Diego State survived a crazy double overtime game against San Jose State. And when I say crazy, I mean it was god-awful. Nobody wanted to score. It was the worst thing maybe I've ever seen. Maybe
San Jose State's hot garbage, too.
They are. San Diego State shouldn't have had an issue, but literally they could not do anything offensively. Their quarterback was horrible. They had to change quarterback. The whole thing was just a mess. But more importantly for you there, for those who cannot see because the camera is a little up, he does have an ASU shirt on. and ASU took a giant crap and lost to Utah.
Hey, it's cold up there and the elevation, okay?
You being the ASU apologist that you are here, I will give you this opportunity to use this excuse. Is this a letdown after beating UCLA the week before?
We shouldn't. No, we're up 21-7 at half. It was 20. I think it was 21-7 at half, and they scored 28 unanswered points to beat us. I watched a couple of the interviews with Antonio Pierce and Herm Edwards, and they just said that they just couldn't execute. They couldn't perform in the second half. I don't want to say it's time to switch up the coaching already, but maybe.
I was going to ask that. Is Herb's welcome starting to wear out?
A little bit, I think. So the thing about Herm is you're going to get players, but you're going to get kids that want to play for a guy that's going to make you a better man. That's great. I love it. But when you also want to win, you don't want to be the mid team every year winning 8 games, getting to the Sun Bowl, and then losing to North Texas because no one wants to play anymore. You want to win games. You want to compete for the Rose Bowl. You want to, hey, maybe we get a chance to go to the playoffs. You got to get someone in there that's going to build a program that has players that want to win, but also want to do, the be a better person stuff.
I think here's the best comparison I can come up with. Herm Edwards is the college football equivalent to Mike Tomlin in the NFL. Like, a solid coach, like, what you're going to get. But as far as, like, winning anything major, probably not.
No.
Probably not.
But I think they'll turn around and they're going to win out. Hopefully Utah loses and we win the Pac-12 South, go to the Rose Bowl, beat Notre Dame, all set in stone.
Wow, that's unnecessary.
Sorry, I had a soda. I'm hyped up on sugar.
By the way, somebody in the chat said Robert Saleh is a perfect college coach. Yeah, he's already coaching a college team. They're called the Jets.
Yes, this is true. They are terrible. Or as Spanish say, El Terrible.
We'll get to them shortly, too. So before we go into NFL from this past week and start looking forward to next week, I want to touch on baseball because there is actually some stuff going on in baseball I want to talk about. So first, let's talk about the playoffs. Astros win today. That series is all even now, 2-2. I am holding a Red Sox ticket, and I'm not real thrilled about it at the moment. But I mean, the thing about that series is you can kind of really drill it down to a couple of things. Number one, Chris Sale is far from Chris Sale. I mean, if you're a Red Sox fan today with Chris Sale on the mound, you have to have a strong feeling you're going to go up 3-1 in the series, and the game was over before it ever started. Every game in this series goes over. I think I said that last week about betting the over in every game of this series because it finds a way. Even today, they had one run through 5 innings and still found a way to get to the over. But the Astros are hitting .500 with runners on base and 2 outs. That is insane.
Yeah.
So
where's the tattoo?
Gotta make sure there's nothing beeping. But the Sox need to get out of innings, and the Sox need to get out. They didn't hit it all today. They had been scorching hot coming into the series. They've started to cool off. They need to find that quickly, or else the series will be. I mean, they'll never get to Game 7. They don't find the bats. On the other hand, we have the Braves and the Dodgers. Yesterday, both games were big comebacks. The Astros did all that stuff in the 9th with 2 outs, which was helping that 2-out number I just gave you. 7 runs in the 9th to win. And then the Dodgers got the home run from Bellinger, obviously, then a hit from Mookie to win that game, finally get a game in that series 2-1. They're playing tonight. Let's get the score here. It's the
Looks
top of
like
the seventh, 5-2.
top of the seventh, 5-2 Braves right now. I got.
So Atlanta, barring another late inning collapse, will go up 3-1 and have a chokehold on that series. I mentioned to some of you earlier, the Braves have been, before this series, have been in 5 series in their history where they have had a 2-0 lead. They have won just one of those series. Needless to say, that one series was against the Mets. But
no one hurts there.
I mean, the Dodgers pitching has been bleh. The hitting has been non-existent. And, for everything that I've said about the Braves, they've hit the ball pretty well. If the Braves can
put up numbers, are playing well. I mean, they lost their arguably best player at the beginning, midway through the season.
Yeah, Acuna's been out since late May, early June.
Yeah, they lost him, had to find replacements. And, you got Freddie Freeman there, like, the good, wily old veteran who's, always in the MVP candidate, I believe. Probably one of the top 5 first basemen out there. Eh?
The best thing that happened to the Braves was right before the trade deadline. They had, due to rainouts and whatnot, they ended up playing like 8 games against the Mets right before the deadline. And they ended up winning 5 of the 8, which had they won 2 of the 8, all of a sudden that Met lead is a lot bigger. Instead of it being whatever it was, 3-4 games, at the deadline, all of a sudden you're looking at 7 or 8 games. And I think winning 5 of those 8, the Braves looked at the division as this division isn't out of reach. Nobody's running away with it. And let's be aggressive. Let's make some moves and see if we can make a run and then, see what happens. And that's why they go out and they get an Adam Duvall. They go out and get a Jock Peterson. They go out and get an Eddie Rosario. They go out and get a Rich Rodriguez. They were, of all the teams in the East, Mets, Phillies, Braves, they were the most aggressive. Okay, the Mets went out and got Javi Baez. That was it. Phillies went out and got Kyle Gibson. That was it. The Braves were the ones that went all in. So they deserved to win the division. They deserve to be in the spot that they're in. And, ultimately, if they beat the Dodgers, more power to them. I don't think that they will beat either team that comes out of the AL. But then again, I don't think they beat the Dodgers either. So,
I mean, as a Diamondbacks fan, I really hope the Dodgers lose. But, didn't the Braves went up last year against them too and ended up losing that series, correct?
Yeah, I would say Braves had a 2-0 lead against the Dodgers last year and lost.
Yeah, so they're winning now. They were up. I'm just gonna wait till they actually finish the series before I start, rooting for them. But
I made the statement earlier: the Braves are to 2-0 series leads, like the Falcons are to 28-3 leads.
That's funny.
Question in the chat: are Ozuna and Bauer done? Ozuna, I would say probably not. I mean, we have seen similar domestic violence cases where guys go away for a while and then come back. Jose Reyes comes to mind. There are other ones. So I'm sure somebody in desperate need of a bat, Ozuna will play for cheap whenever he does come back, because I'm sure. Well, actually, no, I take that back. I don't think the Braves can void that contract. So he's still technically under contract with the Braves. So the Braves would have to decide whether to bring him back or just outright release him. And then if they release him, somebody will pay, I'm sure somebody, in desperate need of a bat, like I said, would give him small money to come play.
Was that a domestic violence? Was that in the States, or is that from, or was he, he's not his home country, or?
It's a good question. I don't remember.
Because I do notice sometimes when that stuff happens and it's a player and he's from the Dominican or something like that, eventually you probably can pay off a few people out there and gets, swept under the rug and then.
Well, no, it's not. I was going to say he did get. I'm going to look it up right now. I know he did get convicted, so it wasn't a.
It wasn't no.
It wasn't like it wasn't like it popped up and now it's a hush hush thing.
Yeah. Just I believe I've seen stuff like that in the past where things like that have happened.
Yeah, I would say this happened right in Georgia.
Okay.
So
then,
he was.
Yeah, he's
Here, I'm going to get exactly what we got here. So, charged with aggravated assault, strangulation, and misdemeanor battery. So, yeah, not good. Not good. And remember, Ozuna was already out because of the broken finger, so this was kind of, all kinds of stuff. But yeah, Atlanta is going to have to cut ties before. What wouldn't surprise me is if Atlanta were to cut ties and then Ozuna is basically on the scrap heap, like I said, somebody's going to pay him pennies on the dollar, to play.
Yeah, the Diamondbacks.
Reunion in Miami would not surprise me. Miami, they've got some young outfield bats, but they don't have like their biggest power bat right now is like Jesus Aguilar. So Ozuna, some cheap pop wouldn't be, and then if you have him play the first half, if he shows that he's Marcell Ozuna, and all of a sudden, like everybody else does in baseball, we forget that he strangled the crap out of somebody, and they can trade him for pieces at the deadline.
True.
So
does Junior want that there?
The Bauer situation completely different, because whereas Ozuna is a piece of crap off the field, from all that we know, he's typically an okay guy in a clubhouse. Like, people don't hate him. People don't like Trevor Bauer to begin with. And now we have all this other stuff happening with Trevor Bauer. I mean, we've talked about Trevor Bauer before on this show. Executives have said that Trevor Bauer is essentially kryptonite. He cannot be touched. Like,
piece of garbage.
Nobody in the Dodgers clubhouse wants him back. I don't think the Dodgers will end up bringing him back, even if he eventually gets cleared of all of this. And then who's willing to take the PR shot by bringing him in? Because even if he gets cleared of all of this, it still stays with him. But yes, as the Beard points out, if you go on his YouTube and watch any of his videos, you can quickly figure out why nobody tends to like Trevor Bauer.
What? That guy's awesome.
So Chico, here's something that I know you're very happy about. MLB has decided that they're going to give minor leaguers housing. They're not going to make them pay their own. They're not going to pay their own way anymore. So you see that headline and your response, finally, right? You think all is well in the world. Hey, MLB's finally going to do what seemed like common sense.
Is it a 10-person tent in a cornfield?
Here's the funny thing. You didn't read the fine print. Housing is for some of the minor leaguers, not all.
Oh, okay. Bastards.
So I firmly believe this will just be another thing that will have to be worked out in the CBA, because I'm sure the Players Association will have, listen, this didn't happen until all of a sudden minor leaguers started really speaking up about just how crappy the conditions are being a minor leaguer. So I'm sure that you'll have some minor league advocates on the players' side pushing this as an agenda in the CBA. And, they'll have plenty of time during a lockout to figure this all out, so that's nice. So the other thing, let me get all this stuff up so I can go through this, is baseball is talking about doing their own streaming service.
I've seen that.
In which they would broadcast the home games. Basically, it would give you the option to watch the home games if you didn't have cable. So,
and the MLB package where you get it and you can't even watch it because it's blacked out.
Well, yeah, I would say the MLB package is for you to watch all out of market stuff, and then obviously your home team is usually blacked out. This is their way of saying, for all you, MLB's trying all kinds of different ways to try and be young and hip. So young people are the generation now has cut the cord. Nobody wants to have cable and all this stuff. Everybody's doing streaming. So MLB's response is, well, if all of them are going to cut the cord, we'll do our own streaming service. So obviously there's an issue with that so a couple of things here before I dive into the issues is they don't obviously have it all mapped out, but they're aiming for 2023 to kind of launch this. It is possible that they could get the NBA and NHL to partner with them in this streaming service. And as far as the cost of the service, from what's been thrown out, it doesn't seem too bad. Talking about $10 to $20 per month. So, I mean, if you're somebody who just wants to watch your home market and you want to avoid cable, I mean, if you're somebody like me who watches only sports and doesn't need all the other crap, I mean, $10, $20 a month, sure.
That's not bad. That's really good. I need something like that because, like myself, I don't want to watch anything else. I need some sports, but I don't want to gotta get this package. I get that package. Oh, great! Now it's blacked out. I can't watch it.
Cut down on the illegal streamers. Oh, sorry. I don't know anything about that. Anyway,
and then I wouldn't be able to do this because the computer would die.
Exactly. Viewership for MLB is down 12% since 2019, so that's always a good way to drive the brand and get more
I'm not
people
shocked
involved.
at all.
So yeah, let's see what we got here. So some of the issues. Cable companies don't have the streaming rights, obviously. So they could try and retaliate by paying less to broadcast the games if they don't like the bargain that MLB would try and work out with them, because Manfred could end up offering cable TV a piece of the streaming service revenue to compensate for subscriber losses. Try of a, mea culpa, so to speak.
Yeah.
As for the teams, the streaming service would pay them based on viewership in their local markets. So Marlin fans, you don't show up to the games, you better watch, or there'll be no money going into that team at all. None. Same goes for Tampa, for that matter. I mean, you want a new stadium, you gotta filter some revenue in. Watch the games at least on the streaming service.
What was it? 400 people at one of those games one time?
What's that?
For Tampa this year, wasn't there only like 500 people?
It seems like there's 5 people there every game. An MLB owner said the league has kept its owners appraised and believe it has general support, though no vote's been taken. Owners are concerned over the forecast for viewership. Within a few years, research says that half of Americans will not be watching cable or satellite, which, yeah, we already know that. So the biggest issue, Chico, in Arizona, you've got Bally Sports, right?
In Arizona or Nevada?
You're so like when you're watching Diamondback games,
yeah,
isn't it on Bally?
I think usually the Diamondbacks, if I have it, it's going to be like FS1, like West Coast, but
like Fox Sports.
Like Fox Sports 1, West Coast.
Okay. Well, anyway, Sinclair Broadcast owns the digital broadcast rights to 15 of the 30 baseball teams right now, and their thing is called Bally Sports. It kind of there we go. Phoenix is Bally's and Arizona is Bally's. That's what I was thinking of. You watch enough games in a sports book, you figure out who has what. Anyway, so Sinclair owns the rights to 14 of the 30 teams. Manfred said, "We believe digital rights are crucial. We want to own and control the platform on which they're delivered. We may have partners in that process." So obviously there's going to be legal claims to who can own this. MLB supposedly wants to launch their service independently of Sinclair, which, as I said, airs most of its MLB through its Bally Sports branded region networks. Manfred believes he's got a real chance at doing this, despite Sinclair already having a grasp on this, because Sinclair in June tried to raise $250 million to try and launch its own streaming service, but can't do that without the approval of Major League Baseball. So they kind of both need each other. So you got to think that there will be some sort of meeting in the middle here where Sinclair relinquishes their rights, but MLB gives them some sort of kickback as well. And so it's at least nice to see MLB progressive thinking a little bit.
Yeah, it is nice because, baseball, as they call it, America's sport, isn't, it's dying every year. You have some of the hardos that still watch it. Guys that play fantasy baseball and stuff watch it. But if you want to reach out to the younger crowd or try and, even have that, father, son, or whatever, like, hey, you want to watch the game? We'll stream it real quick and do it like that instead of hopefully you can find it on the TV and it's not blacked out. But this would be something cool. I would enjoy it. I don't get to watch a lot of Diamondback games being here in Nevada sometimes, but
here's the thing. You want to get to the youth, right? First off, you always talk about, and I feel like I'm a broken record with this, but you always talk about the length of games. Cut out commercial time. All right, that'll save you 20, 30 minutes right there. That's number one. And number two, okay, you have playoff games right now. All right, you're going to have World Series games here in, a week. Don't start the thing at 8:30, 9 o'clock Eastern time. Don't do that. Because then what kid's watching it?
They're in bed.
When the division or when the wild card games were going on in the division series, I had somebody text me, "What's baseball doing with 1 o'clock games? How's that? Why are they running games in the afternoon?" No, that's how the way it should be. That's the way it was, 60 years ago. You want games in the afternoon. Because, if a game starts at 1 o'clock, how's a kid in the East going to watch? A kid in the East is going to watch it when he gets home from school. And guess what? When a kid comes home and he's flipping through the channels, he's going to see baseball on instead of trying to go to sleep when it's on. So, yes, early. Okay? And if you started early, what about the people on the West Coast? West Coast people don't care anyway. They don't even show up the Dodger game on time.
Oh, it's because they're stuck in traffic on the 405 right now.
Not worried about the West Coast people? Come on.
Game's at 1. We better leave at 9 a.m. so we can get there by 2.
Sounds about right.
It is.
All right. NFL this past week. Where do I want to start? Josh Allen can't keep his feet.
Oof.
So do we blame? Let me ask you this. I didn't have a problem with them going for fourth and an inch you should get. First off, I had more of a problem with them not reviewing the leap on third down when it looked like he was at the marker. I know it has to come from up top. Why you wouldn't check that when it looked pretty damn close is beyond me. And then that sets up the 4th and 1. So I don't have a problem necessarily for them going for it. But remember, they were only down 3. If they kick it there, they go to OT. Any thought of them kicking a field goal there?
Not with Josh Allen as big as he is. I mean, when you see the block, the tackle goes over him. Even if he has his footing, I don't know if he clears it, but if he gets the ball over, yeah, you get first down. But you want to go for the win. You kind of show teams that you're not afraid to go for it in that situation.
My biggest thing is what is with, and Lamar does this a lot too. Look, why are we going to the side and then trying to go up? Like you need an inch, it wasn't even a full yard. Go over the center. Or you just leap trying to get the first down on the sideline. Leap. Dude, just go forward. I don't need you to go to the side.
Yeah, I don't know why they're doing that. I wouldn't be able to tell you, but it is kind of weird you see that. I mean, I could see maybe a guy like Lamar being as fast as he is. Maybe he can slip over, but yeah, it's a weird situation.
Lamar likes to go up and over and up again. It's like Frogger.
But yeah, you could see that everyone's like, oh, his foot slipped. Yeah, it slipped, but you watch the guy clear over the guard there. I don't know if he even gets it if his foot doesn't slip.
Let's see. Let's look at some other things that happened. We had the crazy Cowboy Patriot game where it looked like Diggs had the pick that was going to end it. Then Mac Jones hits the long pass over Diggs's head and gives the Patriots the lead back. Then Zerloin, who had just missed a field goal, now hits one to go to OT. And then obviously the Cowboys win. That game told me more about the Patriots than it did the Cowboys. I know what the Cowboys are, but it looked like the Patriots finally found something offensively with Mac Jones there later in that game.
I was thinking the same thing. Like when I kept looking at the score and seeing that the Patriots are still in it, I thought, well, is the Cowboys playing bad? But it didn't seem like it. It's just more the Patriots are clicking together. Mac Jones is starting to figure things out. I mean, the kid's smart. I'm not a big Alabama fan or Alabama players usually, especially quarterbacks come to the NFL. They don't really pan out, but I actually really enjoy watching Mac Jones play. And I thought going to the Patriots was the best scenario for him. And, I knew the Cowboys were going to score. They got every weapon out there that, they can possibly ask for. And Dak's playing well off an injury. But, yeah, to watch Mac Jones sling the ball like he was and take some shots was pretty good. Don't say this much, but I'm excited to see how the Patriots pan out in the next 5 years with him at quarterback.
Your Raiders,
yes,
rally around the unnecessary dismissal of John Gruden and beat up on Teddy B and the Broncos.
They did. They played really, really well.
I had said last week this was a game everybody wanted to jump on the Broncos because, what would – said, don't do this. Don't do this. Trap.
Oh, yeah. Obviously, I'm not going to say it was the Broncos are going to play good, but no, Broncos had some little moments there where they looked like they're playing well, but I just felt that the Raiders were just more like, hey, this is a need to win. We got to win. To show that
Raiders won that game by 10, but it wasn't that close. Raiders dominated that game throughout. Broncos made
you could tell at the end of the game there. It's a lot of garbage time. They're playing soft cover zone, stuff like that, just trying to stop the big plays from happening. But they did rough up Teddy B quite a few times there. With the guy, Max Crosby played well, who got robbed of Rookie of the Year a couple years ago. I'm not saying, it's because he's a Raider, but it's whatever.
Roughed up Teddy B so badly that he's not playing on Thursday.
That's right. I heard we're going to have a pretty good duel of the quarterbacks this Thursday.
Yeah, we'll get to that shortly. Chiefs beat the team. Not so surprised there. Cardinals are the only undefeated team left as they beat up on the MASH unit called the Browns. Again, I will tell you this. The Cardinals are last year's Steelers. They could be 12-0. And I will not buy in. Buy in.
Don't let the goo tape hear you say that.
He can hear me all he wants. They're not legit. They're not winning anything. Enjoy it while you can.
With their best receivers, DeAndre Hopkins, we got AJ Green there, who hasn't had a healthy season the last 3 years. He's not going to be able to play down the stretch. They traded for Ertz. He's good, but he's been known to get injured, especially late in the season when it gets cold. I know it's indoors, it's Arizona, but I just don't see the team holding up being as healthy as they are right now.
The same reason that I don't trust the Cowboys to win in the postseason because of Mike McCarthy and his wonderful clock management. The same reason why I don't trust the Cardinals. Cliff Kingsbury is a master tactician over there. Kingsbury has shown that he will screw up when things matter. So whoever outside of Mike McCarthy, whatever other playoff coach you put on the opposite side, they have the advantage.
Oh, yeah. Cliff was good in college. I mean, he didn't win a lot. He was just really good at play calling, even though I haven't seen it too much. I believe he's only won 16. I think he's at 500, right? 16?
Somewhere around there.
Or eight each season. So he's a young coach. They brought him in because, he recruited Kyler Murray when he was at Texas Tech. But my thing is, they brought him in too because Murray's 5'10", they say, but the guy can't be under center. He has to play out of shotgun. what happens if Cliff leaves and you bring an old school coach or a guy that, hey, we're going to run a pro I formation or we're going to run on a center, and you're sitting there with your chin strap like this because the center's butt's in your face.
Bengals beat up on the Lions. Not surprised. Put that on Twitter. That was easy. I mean, come on, people. Like
it's Lions, baby. Not kneecaps.
Dan Campbell didn't cry this week, so that was a bonus. He did call out Jared Goff, said that they needed him to step up. But this week is the Jared Goff revenge game, so he's going to obviously step up here.
Put all your money on the Lions.
Don't advise that. Aaron Rodgers still owns the Bears. He made sure to tell them that. My Chargers got killed by the Ravens. They didn't even show up.
Yeah,
that was awful.
I did not expect
kills my Herbert MVP.
Well, my MVP is still Josh Allen.
Yeah, that's not
hey,
that's not great either.
He can only do what he can. Urban calls the play.
Urban can't win on American soil, but he can win in London, thanks to Tua and the Dolphins. Which segue? There's news on the Deshaun Watson front. In that
more cases?
Yeah. Okay, the beard. Yes, my Chargers in the fact that I've been talking up the Chargers on the show. They're not my Chargers in that I root for them. They're my Chargers in the fact that I have money on them. Okay? Let's calm down over there.
He's my Josh Allen because I have money on him.
You should just pop the camera on and get on here.
I know. What are you doing?
I'll say, if the kid's not coming out, you got time. Come on. Anyway, so Deshaun Watson rumors. Supposedly a deal could happen here before the deadline as talks are getting serious. The latest rumor was that there is a potential 3-team deal in the works where Watson would go to the Dolphins and Tua, instead of going to the Texans, would go to the Washington football team. And my question to you there, Stash, is what kind of disrespect is that to Mr. Tyler Hinkie?
That's a lot of disrespect to me because that guy played his heart out for you guys last year in the playoffs, almost beating the now defending Super Bowl champ Buccaneers. Did he beat out Fitzpatrick? Or no, Fitzpatrick was the starter at the beginning of the season, I believe. But he's come in and played lights out for you still. The guy, you gave him an extension in the offseason. To me, it's just I would be upset, but at the same time, your name's you're Heineke. You're not a big name like Tua over there. So, but all you got to do is just beat him out when he comes in. Show everyone that, hey, you made a trade for a quarterback that can't play the game. I'm here. Let's win. Or if you do it like the guy that was there before, is you like that?
Supposedly, the Eagles are also involved in this. I saw that a little later on.
Okay, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, I saw that a couple of hours ago, which also
sounds like a lot of teams are trying to get rid of these Alabama quarterbacks.
Well, here's why a 3-team deal makes sense for the Texans. The Texans obviously are trying to hold as close to the asking price as possible. Originally, it was 2 firsts and 3 seconds or something to that effect. Like, they want a boatload of picks, which no team's willing to do because of Deshaun's many rub and tug
issues.
I'm just going to be honest and call it rub and tugs. I mean, that's what they were here. Okay. But anyway, so while a team may not be willing to give you a bunch of picks, you may be able to get a couple of picks from one team and a couple of picks from another team. And if you're looking at teams like Philly who have multiple firsts, okay, then you could be able to get maybe 2 or 3 firsts coming from different sides and things like that. So I think this is Houston's way of trying to get a package of picks still from multiple areas. what I think is ultimately going to happen because the Deshaun Watson thing is in such flux is that these picks are going to come with contingencies. Similar to what we look at the Carson Wentz deal with Indy. All right. That deal turns into a first round pick if Wentz plays 70% of the games. Okay. You could see a similar situation with Deshaun Watson, where the picks are probably going to be 2 years from now, because obviously he's not playing this year. Although I pray that whoever trades for him tries to play him and forces Goodell to do something finally. But you get picks 2 years from now, and it's contingent on what does Watson play. Does he play half the games? Does he play 75% of the game? Whatever. Be contingencies in it based off of the legal concerns. So that team has him, and then, if they get Deshaun, okay, great. I'm willing to give you that for Deshaun. But if I get a legal mess, well, then I've got the contingencies in place where it's not going to hurt me to take the risk.
Yeah, exactly. You can't, spend that much, picks or whatever you're going to send over there and get a guy that, hey, now he's going to get thrown in prison. I don't even get him anymore. Or, hey, you're suspended for 2 years or whatever they do to him. You need something to, a safety net to fall back on.
To me, right, of the three teams that we know of, so the Dolphins, the Eagles, and the football team, you want to look at, the fit and who, does Watson make any of these teams ultimately better? If you put Watson in Miami, are they better than the Bills? No.
They're a hard team.
I would probably put them on par with the Patriots.
I think they're better than the Patriots if you put Watson on that Miami team.
I don't know. Is that defense going to finally be good again?
Yes.
They have obviously they have Waddle. I don't know what Myles Gaskin is. Devontae Parker's never healthy. I think Watson would use Gesicki more than he's used now. I think Gesicki would be the type of tight end that he actually can be. But I don't.
Like a younger Zach Ertz back in the day?
Yeah, I don't. Let me put it this way. I like the idea of Watson to Miami a lot more earlier than I do now. I just don't think it elevates them enough, especially when, what are you going to lose to give, because they have a lot of holes that they still need to fill.
Yeah.
The Washington situation makes a little more sense in that Fitz is obviously hurt right now, plus he's old, so Fitz isn't the long-term answer. Obviously, they're not sold on Heineke being the long-term answer. But again, much like the Dolphins, my question is, what happened to the defense? That team was good because of the defense.
Was that a top 10? They came
definitely
in
top 10. It might have been top 5.
Maybe even higher than that.
And now they're bottom of the barrel.
Last? Yeah.
No, they're not last, but.
Well, they're in the bottom 5 now compared to what they were last year.
They're off. Like Chase Young is non-existent. Landon Collins. Did
they figure him out? Was he just a one-trick pony there at the end on the defensive end, and just no one's seen a guy this big coming through?
I don't.
Or are they just like, hey, no one else is doing anything. We can double team them all day.
That's more where I was going with. You need that guy on your side to help. Not everybody is Aaron Donald, where you can throw 2-3 guys and he's still going to break through. So I think that, teams are just kind of swaying the protection to Chase's side. Chase isn't busting through. But that still doesn't make up for the secondary. Unless that secondary is being so exposed now with the fact that they get no pressure that they were getting before. And for the Eagles, please explain to me that. This is not a quarterback away team by any means.
It's possibly a head coach too away. I don't think the Eagles have enough weapons, and they're not using a guy like Miles Sanders, who's very good running back when he's used.
Sirianni's just allergic to running the football. That's just like he goes on Madden and only looks for pass plays. Doesn't even look at run plays. It's just not an option for Sirianni. But I mean, you're trading off pieces. I mean, you just traded Ertz, like the defense isn't really young. I mean, you have Fletcher Cox and whatnot. The offensive line is in flux. Lane Johnson's just coming back from battling mental health issues and things like that.
The only solid piece though is that Jason Kelsey, right? He's the center, the only guy that's been there for a while.
Yeah, I just don't know what Watson does for the Eagles other than saying, okay, we've got a quarterback. Okay, great. Now what? Like I've got Deshaun Watson, I've got Devontae Smith, and I've got Darius Slay? Like, okay.
What's it? Godot? The tight end?
Yeah, Goddard.
I mean,
they're going to have to
with Watson there and Smith, Goddard, Slay or whatever, and then Miles Sanders. That's not a bad lineup to have him throwing the ball to. But who's on the opposite? Or who's on your defense?
Do you trust Nick Sirianni to make anything of it?
Hell no, that guy's terrible.
Okay, then. So yes, let me trade all my.
Bring in Kellen Moore. I'm telling you.
You're really big on Kellen Moore tonight.
I want him to be the OC for the Raiders. I'm gonna hit him on Twitter. Let him know there's an opening if he hasn't heard.
All right. Anyway, so let's look.
Oh, Regan. I don't know the guy. I don't know. I was Slay Rieger. Whatever the hell his name is.
And who Darius Slay is the cornerback, Mr. Scout over there. Okay. And why are we talking about Jalen Rieger? Okay. If we're going to talk about another wide receiver, aren't we talking about Quez Watkins?
Goat.
I mean, come on. And he's the scout?
He can't even scout the right protein powder. What is he talking for?
Scouting the nearest Dunkin' Donuts, probably. Anyway.
No, I can scout those. That's my favorite.
So we made mention to the prolific quarterback matchup we have on Thursday night, where it will be the once starting quarterback Drew Lock retaking his throne thanks to a Teddy B injury against this mash unit called the Cleveland Browns. Let me just run through the names of people that the Browns will not have on Thursday night. Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry.
Is that their whole offense?
Pretty much. Oh, by the way, I'm leaving out 3 members of the offensive line who also won't be there.
This game is going to be amazing.
The over.
I'd rather watch Toledo versus Marshall.
The over under for this game is 40.5. Under.
Is there any key players out on defense on either team?
Is Myles Garrett back? I don't think he is.
Hit the over. Hammer the over.
They've been there in 3 weeks. The first team to 17 wins this game. If somebody gets to 17, this could be 14-10.
If you guys are needing fantasy kickers, I'd say take the Browns kicker and the Broncos kicker because it's going to be a long day for both of them.
Just some books do this. I know everybody uses different books and books are different. So if you have this, there's some books that offer the kicker props, like over half a field goal or over 1.5 field goals. Go look for those. The kickers will be in business Thursday night.
Yes, they will. And I have on mine here the Browns are favored by 1.5.
Well, I'm not. That line is dropped horribly over the
I got
last
41 for the over under.
40. Well, 41's even better. Let me see what I've got here. So I've got 40.5 and 2 as my numbers. What I would probably do and what I probably will do is I'll tease it. I'll put the Broncos up to 8, clear the touchdown. I'll put the over under up to 46.5. All right, because I mean, like I said, they're not touching 40, let alone 46. And then I'll put that Bronco teaser in with a couple of other teams later in the week as well.
And then I got Broncos money line at 105.
Yeah, I got 110. I mean, I have no problem with taking a stab there. I mean, based off of the mash unit that the Browns have, the Bronco defense should be able to feast on this. I mean, Case Keenum left. Case Keenum went from backing up Daniel Jones last year and playing when the Giants had nobody on offense to thinking he was going to go in a better situation if he ever had to start for Cleveland. And he's got even a worse situation than he had in New York. So, I mean,
even though Teddy B beat out Drew Lock was the quarterback last year, so he does have some chemistry with these guys. He can produce. It's his accuracy that kills him, but he can make any throw out there. The guy has a huge arm. He can throw it deep. I don't know. It's just, can he perform under pressure? Is the Browns defense going to show up? Are they going to help out with the offense and try and, win this game?
The only reason the Browns are still favored is, I think, because it's Lock. I mean, you just look at the talent on one end to the other. I mean, it's not a question. I mean, I can run through 5 guys on the Denver offensive side that any one of them is better than anybody you're going to give me on the Cleveland offensive side on Thursday.
But again, it's Drew Lock.
Yes. Drew Lock is the wild card, and that's why we will not get the over.
And I will take the Broncos money line, though. I think they'll take that.
Before we'll do the picks at the end of the show here, but I just want to point out a couple of interesting games this week. So one of which is your Raiders playing the Eagles.
It's a W.
Right now, your Raiders are -3.
This is true.
Your Raiders have been up and down. Let's be honest.
It's Denver like that game every year.
The Denver game, not a surprise. Like you said, Denver's not overly good. And unlike the Urban Meyer situation, I think from a lot of things that you heard coming out of that locker room, like they actually still were behind Gruden despite the things. I mean, outside of maybe Nassib, who, took a direct shot from what Gruden said. I think, like I think he still had ultimate support from guys like Carr and whatnot. So they were able to kind of use it as a rallying cry, more as a, what the hell is going on in this place. I mean, they actually respected Gruden, unlike Jacksonville that doesn't respect Meyer at all.
Yeah, I don't care. Because even after Gruden, resigns, leaves, you got guys on the defense, pretty respected guys in the locker room like Trayvon Mullen saying, hey, let's finish what we started for Gruden. Even Carr coming out saying, hey, I still love the man, but I don't like what he said, his words. And then I can see, it probably hit Nassib hard because, who knows what the words were saying between after after he came out, Gruden probably supported him. And then you find out he's using these, homophobic terms and emails that probably why he had to take, a personal day. That's, a guy you looked up to, respected, kept you on a team. Because if you remember, he wasn't a good player with the Giants and they cut him. So for a guy to give him a shot and then you find out he's saying stuff like that, yeah, that's gonna cut you deep probably.
So my question to you is, despite how bad the Eagles have been on offense, their defense is actually pretty good. They're actually top 5 as far as big plays allowed, plays of 20 yards or more. They don't give up big plays, which is something the Raiders obviously like to do with Ruggs and things like that. So do you trust the Raiders to win and cover this game?
Yeah, I do. And that's not just me being a Raiders fan. I think they just played compared to earlier in the year after Gruden, gets the stanky boot. they just played a little bit like more aggressive. They're, feel like they're hitting everything in stride. They played more chemistry. I just think they'll win this game. I don't know if they're gonna win every other game, but I just have a feeling that we're gonna see the Raiders play a lot different the second half or going forward.
Another game that somewhat interesting is Chiefs Titans, and I want to bring this up because we had this whole incident this last week when they played the Washington football team. First off, Washington football team does a wonderful thing by announcing basically 3 days before the game that they're retiring Sean Taylor's number. Family didn't even know. So, a team that has all kind of PR problems does a wonderful job with that.
Well, yeah, I mean, those emails came from the Washington football team's, was it president or GM? And so, miraculously 3 days later, like, oh, yeah, we already had this planned, Don't worry about these emails. We're going to retire Sean Taylor's number.
Yeah. So, wonderful job with that. But Patrick Mahomes, as somebody has made reference to, and that's the route we're about to go down. Patrick Mahomes' family is insane. So on the field, we have Sean Taylor's number painted in there. And it's chained off. And Mahomes' brother somehow not only goes behind the chains, but then proceeds to dance on the number. First off, how does anybody let him on the number?
Yeah, that was very strange and not nice to do. I do want to say, though, there has since, he's been kind of called out for it. There has been photos of other people standing on it. So my thing is, why wasn't there a security guard there? Why didn't you have staff members standing around? I get it's chained off, but
nobody respects chains, apparently.
No, I'm not gonna wait for a chain. I'm gonna walk over it. Tell me to wait for a chain.
But here's the thing: as douchey as his brother might be, the brother doesn't hold a candle to his now wife or mom.
Woo!
I have a list of things here that I'm going to run down. Wait, you ready for this, Chico?
I am. I want to hear this.
This starts all the way back in 2018. Okay? His then fiance in 2018. Apparently, like, they were dating and pics are coming out. So a lot of people were putting comments on there like, oh, dude, Mahomes is a star quarterback. Like, he could do better. She proceeds to go on Instagram, put up a bunch of pictures of her in a bikini and stuff like this. Basically, like, show me what he could do better. So we got that. Then, July of 2020. Anything important going on there in the middle of 2020?
Oh, yeah.
Were we in the middle of anything?
It was a pandemic, I believe.
Okay. So, Miss Prissy Pants over here thinks it's a good idea in the middle of a pandemic to do 3 Postmate deliveries from 3 different places within a 3-hour span.
What's wrong with this lady?
I don't know, but just wait. Okay, that I only had a couple of things for her. We haven't gotten to Mom. Mom takes the cake. So let's go to Mom. In September of 2020, she tweeted at an ESPN announcer for calling him Pat instead of Patrick. She's upset about this because she is divorced from his father, obviously Pat Mahomes, the former pitcher, and I guess doesn't want any relation between those and yeah, but whatever.
Okay, I mean, I get it, but you don't need to go to social media.
In October 2020, she had a whole parade of things. A Pats defender hit Mahomes, and Mahomes kind of flopped to try and draw a flag. She immediately tweeted that the guy needed to be ejected. Then she switched sports and ripped LeBron for leaving the court early during a loss. Then she came back to football, ripped the refs for some calls that they made, and called out the people that were commenting on her stuff, saying that she didn't care about them. Which, by commenting, I think that shows what you do. So now we come to this year. You remember a few weeks ago we had that Mac Wilson situation, not this season, end of last season. Mac Wilson concussed Mahomes when they played the Browns.
Yep.
Yeah. She called it an evil act by Wilson and asked that he be ejected. She said fans who compare and debate players are morons. She took when they were hyping up the Super Bowl, they called Mahomes the baby goat. She took issue to that. And then after the Super Bowl, she tagged Gazelle in a picture of the officials to insinuate that the officials helped Brady and the Bucs out.
Huh.
But her best one was this past week. The first interception that Mahomes threw, I think it was the first one, was...
Oh, yeah. I've seen this one.
He throws it to Tyreek. It hits off of Tyreek's hands.
Yep.
Blah, blah. She goes to Twitter and she goes, "You guys need to redo how you register my son's interceptions. It's Tyreek's fault, not his. It shouldn't count." Are you fucking kidding me?
First off, do you have the link to her Twitter? Because I need to follow her. And that's fantastic. I mean, granted, I've always said there should be a side rule for it or a side stat for that, but to just go out and start, I mean, this woman is crazy. And I think the fame of her son has gotten to her head more than his.
Can he just tell his whole family, like, just
do an Aaron Rodgers, baby? Get rid of them all. I don't need a family.
Aaron Rodgers said, "Listen, I don't give a shit about your woke cancel culture."
He don't talk to nobody in his family. Look how good he's doing.
You and Rodgers got the same stash.
It's true.
So, you got that going.
Going for the haircut too, he has, but it's not working.
Couple more games this week. The Bengals are playing the Ravens. I think that's interesting. I think the Bengals are a lot more legit than people believe. I think this is a good game to see where exactly they are. And the Monday night game, let me go to that. Saints Seahawks. Jameis Winston. Yes, you give that look.
Oh my.
Jameis Winston, Geno Smith. Now, the Seahawks are coming off a game against the Steelers on Sunday night that they nearly won overtime. Came back. I haven't been overly impressed with the Saints.
Not since week one, when you're like, oh man, is this a legit team? Are they going to just walk away with the division?
When the Beard was on here talking about LASIK surgery and fixed Jameis Winston.
I don't think it fixed anything because that guy still stinks.
That guy's still looking for some crab legs.
Yes, he is.
So
I mean, I would ride with the Seahawks if I was throwing some money down.
So I mean, you're clearing the field goal.
Yep.
And
I don't think. I mean, the Saints defense is good, but I still feel the Steelers defense is a little bit better. And Geno gets another whole week with the first team reps. So I think I like the Seahawks in that game. It just depends on how the running backs look.
All right, switch to college and the top 25 here. See if there's anything noteworthy. Cincinnati, who we referenced earlier, gets Big Bad Navy. That's very difficult for them. I hope they survive. A couple there's actually a few of these top 10 games that I'm going to talk about in our picks. So the only one I actually do want to bring up is, since we talked about Orgeron earlier, is Ole Miss is playing LSU this week. Ole Miss obviously coming off the big win last week against Florida. Ole Miss obviously trying to rebound. They came back and showed the offensive prowess last week after not being able to do anything against Alabama. Any chance LSU can pull off an upset against Ole Miss and Old Lane over there?
No, I don't think so. I think LSU season's done. They're just he's already lost the locker room. They're not going to be able to, some guys out there that want to win still are going to, want to play for the coach. But if it's as bad as it says it is, I don't think it's going to happen. And Ole Miss wants to prove something. They want to make sure that they keep winning.
Okay. Every week the scout does this. I did not say Ole Miss beat Florida last week.
Quarterback healthy, though, that's the question.
LSU beat Florida last week. That's what I said. Every week he does this. Like, I don't understand people who, like, you watch the show, pay attention. Speaking of watching the show, since the beard is not here, I need to stand up for me and the beard. We found a show that is plagiarizing us. Okay? And I won't stand for it. All right? When I, 2 weeks ago, give you the Simmons-Kyrie take and about how they could essentially swap problems, I don't need you to come on your show yesterday or the day before, whenever you did that crappy thing, and then steal my take. It's been done. Go away. You're not us.
Do we know what the show's name is?
I'm not going to give them that. That's not happening. You do not deserve to be mentioned.
Go put a 1-star review on them right now.
Oh, that's another thing. That reminds me. I guess I should make the announcement. I've teased the announcement. So let's make the announcement. So the beard is obviously working on having a baby. Hopefully this baby is coming in the near future, because me and the beard will be doing I guess you want to call it a watch along, although you won't be watching us, you'll be listening to us, but a listen along for the Sixers Nets game Friday night. It is on, if you have any Apple products, you can download the app. It is called Colorcast. We will be on there, like I said, doing the Sixers Nets game. So we'll be there from tip-off till the end of the game, talking about the game, giving live betting updates, all that stuff, yada, yada, yada. You guys can come in. You can interact with us. There's a chat in there. We even have the option of bringing you on to talk, all kinds of stuff. So it is as interactive as can be. So come on over and join us for that. And basically we are looking to make Colorcast a long-term thing for the show. So hopefully Friday night goes well, and then the show will then also be on Colorcast as well as here. So that is the announcement. Me and the beard doing a little basketball on Friday night.
I'm more excited to see the beard talk basketball.
Yes, the beard is a big fan of basketball.
Oh, man, it almost went in the hoop.
All right. So let's dive into some of the picks here before we wrap up. Chico, I don't know if you actually came up with anything for college, so I will run through a couple of these while you can take a gander over there. At the 12 o'clock hour, we have a ranked team against an unranked team. Wake Forest ranked against Army. Army is getting 3 at the moment. Wake Forest is ranked, but they're not very good. Army is a team that runs the ball and runs the ball and runs the ball some more, much like Navy for that fact. I like Army in this game. Plus 140 on the money line is nice if you wanted to take a stab there. But right now, at least at my book, you can get the +3 at even money. So take 3 points and have your even money. Not a bad thing there. Let's see what else I got here. Going through the games. Another situation, Wisconsin is giving 3 to Purdue. I don't know if any of you guys have watched Wisconsin this year. Wisconsin's horrible. Graham Mertz sucks.
That was actually one of them I was looking at myself. I was going to say take Purdue.
Yes, you and me are in agreement to take Purdue plus the 3. If you don't know anything about Graham Mertz, just go back and watch the Wisconsin Notre Dame game. It's all you need to know. OK State playing Iowa State. I'll lay the 7 with Iowa State.
I got it. Wait, for one question I wanted to ask you earlier.
Yep.
Does Notre Dame versus USC this weekend, right?
Yes, that is this weekend.
It's in Notre Dame, and I'm more surprised that USC on my book is only a 7-point underdog.
Yeah, line's 6.5 with me. I'm going to get to that at some point. Yeah.
Any worries or no?
Let me put it this way. It's a game Notre Dame should win, but that is a rivalry game, so to speak. There's obviously a lot of history between Notre Dame and USC, and anybody who knows that history knows that despite, whether both teams are good, both teams are whatever, crazy things happen in these games. So, am I willing to lay the 6.5 with Notre Dame? 6.5 probably, but I don't. Let me put it this way: it's not something I'm running to do. That's all. Speaking of that Ole Miss LSU game, that line is 9. I don't think LSU stays that close. I
think Ole Miss will run away with it.
Yeah. So I'm on Ole Miss there. So for those of you who don't know, although he is wearing a Sun Devils t-shirt, Chico is a honorary alumni of Old Dominion.
This is true. Got a doctorate.
Just based on the fact that he tries to place a bet on Old Dominion every week. So in the same fashion that Chico is an honorary Old Dominion alum, I might as well be an honorary UCLA alum at how many times I've given out UCLA as a pick on this damn show. But yet here I am again doing it because they're 2.5 favorites to Oregon. Oregon is missing seemingly everybody. Oregon is clinging to the ranking that they have. They barely survived Cal last week. UCLA is way better than Cal. I'm all over UCLA if this stays under a field goal.
Where did I have that? I took Oregon at 1.5.
So you think Oregon win? Well,
yeah. Well, basically winning. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I think Oregon's have bounced back.
All right. As always, goes without saying, you take Alabama first half. Tennessee is not good. Alabama showed last week that they are ready to take out their anger on everybody that stands in the way. So Alabama first half is back in play. They stumbled once. That is it. So the scout knows I was on San Diego State last week. We had to sweat out that unnecessary game with San Jose State. This week they have Air Force. They are 3-point dogs. And guess what? I am not on San Diego State this week. I saw enough of San Diego State last week to know that to hop on the other side. I will lay the 3 with Air Force this week with that game. And we already talked about Notre Dame. Kind of looking at the under at the Utah-Oregon State game. That's at 56.5 right now. The only other one that I will throw out there is where is it? I just had it. Ohio State is laying 21.
I just looked at that one. Yeah.
to Indiana. Ohio State is prepping to get themselves in the playoffs. They will run through Indiana. There was one other game that I
I
wanted
got a
to
game
mention.
I'm interested in.
Go ahead. While I try and find mine.
It's going to be BYU at Washington State. BYU is favored by 4. Washington State just had their head coach fired for not taking the vaccination shot. He's now suing, I believe, the school and possibly the whole state of Washington.
Good luck with that.
But Washington State, they've been playing well. They've had some great comeback wins. I think they beat Stanford last week. Or was that last week, week before? But watching BYU in Provo beat my Arizona State Sun Devils, they're not that bad of a team. And depending on how well this Washington team is, players are going to, be without the head coach or what its mindset's going on there, I would take the BYU -4 on that game in Washington.
Yeah, not only is the head coach gone, but 4 of his coordinators are gone too, as they also did not.
Yeah, I would definitely take
basically
BYU.
the whole coaching staff is gone.
What's the dean out there coaching him now?
Ted Lasso.
Hell yeah!
So the game I was thinking of and forgot about. Pittsburgh is playing Clemson at 3:30. Pittsburgh is laying 3. I don't know if you've watched Clemson this year, but it's not the Clemson that you remember. I'll lay the 3 with Pittsburgh. And if you have a book that does team totals, if that Clemson team total is mid-20s or higher, take the under. Clemson does not score points. They will not score. They will not get in the mid-20s. I would say at most they will get probably 21. I mean, this is a team that played Syracuse last week and didn't even crack 20. Yeah.
We're on the same page, I think, when it comes to this stuff right now, because I was looking at the same one earlier thinking taking Pitt for me is 3.5 on that. Total 48. I'd probably go with the under.
All right. And now flipping to NFL. I don't have a lot of straight plays for you. Just quickly looking at this.
Forgot to write
the
down
only one. I already told you I would take the under Thursday night with Denver and Cleveland. I like that. I'd lay the 7 with New England against the Jets. New England ran away with it in week 2. Like I said, I think they found something a little more offensively with Mac there in Dallas. Jets offense doesn't strike me much. So I like that. The other one I might look at is Green Bay. I'd like it to be 7. It's 7.5 right now against the football team. Rodgers is rolling. We talked about the football team's defense not being very good. The football team's offense isn't much better. So
you got yours at 7.5?
Yeah, 7.5.
Jeez. My book has it at 9.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm not touching that one.
No,
I'm liking the Bengals. We talked about them earlier. They're looking good. Joe Burrow's out there slinging it. The offensive line issues don't seem to be as bad as many people expected they were going to be. And Jamar Chase is playing lights out. I got him at plus 6.5 because it is in Baltimore. But I don't know. I just feel the Bengals can pull this one out and, help one win for the division too.
It would definitely be a big stepping stone for the Bengals if they could do that. Lock of the week this week will be on Twitter. There are some big money lines in the NFL this week, thanks to some big spreads. The Lions are getting 14.5. The Bears are getting 12. There's another one that's really big. Let me see here. Yeah, Lions 14.5, Bears 12. Oh, Houston's getting 17.5 from the Cardinals. So we got to put together a lock of the week here to make a little money. So that'll go up on the Twitter. As far as remember, the picks on here are the early week projection picks. The picks that go on Twitter, although lately haven't been great, they're the official ones. Last week was a bath. It was bad.
Oh, I don't think I hit one last week on my own. So I'm hoping to come back this week, baby.
There we go. All right. So you got anything else before I wrap this up?
I do have as many as you know. I like to put together a big parlay. Been calling it the lottery parlay. So if anyone wants to put $5 down on this and pray that it hits, I got Rice at plus 1100, Vandy at plus 950, North Texas at plus 950, and University of Louisiana Monroe, who has for most of the year been hitting on these big ones at plus 425. You put all that in, you're looking at a pretty penny, my friend. And for the scout, he knows this, but UNLV has covered their spread, I believe, majority of the time this year, and they are favored 3.5, or no, plus 3.5 against whatever they're playing, some Bodunk team. But that's all I got.
That's the analysis that you're here for, Chico.
Oh, yeah.
By the way,
you guys want to make a lot of money off of one bet? I can do that for you.
Chico, speaking of the scout, yet again,
yes.
Going back to the part where he doesn't listen to the show, he's asking for a Ben Simmons rant. Pretty sure I did a Ben Simmons rant at the start of the show.
The guy went on one earlier. It was amazing.
You know? So, all right, this is.
Oh, yeah, they're playing. We mentioned this team earlier, San Jose State, right? San Diego barely beat them. San Jose State is playing here in Las Vegas against UNLV. UNLV, 3.5. They are they're not favored, so, but they will cover.
You couldn't pay me to watch that game.
I'm not going to watch that game. That's a trash game.
That is a game that only a gambler could love.
Where's the scout at? He's putting on it.
All right, so I don't really have a rant. I have a story to wrap the show up, and that is, as you know, Disney owns ESPN, and there's a lot of, when Disney bought it, there was a lot of talk about Disney buying it to then sell it off eventually later on, and they were always opposed to it. But now there's a lot of talk about Disney finally moving off of ESPN. In that, ESPN doesn't really help drive up the Disney stock price, which would love to be like a Netflix stock price, which they're not, because ESPN is considered a legacy asset or something to that nature. And basically, the reason why ESPN doesn't drive up the stock price is because ESPN is attached to linear cable. The only real streaming thing that ESPN has is ESPN Plus, and where Disney basically has everything else that they do with Hulu and whatever else, and you can just steer that all to streaming only. You can't do that with ESPN because ESPN has all these deals with the leagues where they can't move the games. Like, you can't take Monday Night Football and put it on ESPN Plus, and everything, or all the NBA games that they have, and now put them on ESPN Plus and all that. So it is possible that Disney would then sell ESPN and move that. So I was thinking about who could buy ESPN and make it work, because ESPN Plus has their group of things that they do. But obviously, you're buying ESPN as a whole, so you need the station along with it. And then I was thinking about this, because we talked about the baseball streaming service idea coming in a couple of years, hopefully, and that how basketball and hockey may join them. The NFL is never going to join them. The NFL does their own thing. NFL,
they're their own announcer.
The three of them,
they want.
I would say the three of them combined don't match what the NFL does. I wonder if somebody with the eye of buying ESPN goes to the leagues and says, listen, we know that you have your deals. Okay. And your deals last, however, I think when ESPN re-up for Monday Night Football, it's a 10-year deal or something to that effect. Somebody in the chat is thinking along my lines here.
Oh, yeah.
So going to them and going, listen, we still run it on the linear cable because you have the deal for that, but we will pay you X amount to also let it run on the stream because that's where we want to go. And then they show them all the reasons why it needs to be on the stream as well, and yada, 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 yada. And who can ultimately do that? Who can afford not only to buy ESPN from Disney, but also then pay the NFL ultimately, because the NFL is ultimately the one you're going to have to pony up for. I think you could get something done with the NBA, especially if the NBA is looking to go streaming on their own. Anyway, who could do that? Amazon can. Why? Because Amazon is taking over the damn world.
Oh, yeah. I could see you could do that, and then, Amazon would be perfect. You can bundle all that together, watch it all on their live stream.
Especially the Sunday Ticket is going off of DirecTV after this year. That is up for bid. Okay, Amazon is a prime player for that. So if you could get some type of combination where you had Sunday Ticket on Amazon Prime now, and then you were able to combine Amazon Prime with ESPN Plus here a few years down the road, and you've already got NFL in the fold somewhat, you can mesh it together and work out a deal. So I think Amazon is one. I think the first domino you have to watch is where does Sunday Ticket land. If Amazon lands Sunday Ticket, I think it's a big step toward them being a legitimate landing spot if Disney does move off of ESPN, which I think ultimately they'll do, because why the did Disney buy ESPN in the first place?
Yeah, it was always a weird thing, I thought, when that was going on. But yeah, Amazon to me makes the most sense. It's already, convenient for them. They already have links up with other, Showtime or HBO, stuff like that. I thought I heard that was already a lock, or they were already considered doing that like earlier in the year or last year.
What?
About the Sunday Ticket or Amazon trying to purchase rights to air NFL on their Prime.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like I said, the Sunday Ticket. I haven't checked what the latest ongoing is, but basically, it's going up for bid. So Amazon will bid on it. I don't know off the top of my head who else was in it, but like, for instance, like Netflix could conceivably bid on it, like whoever, and then the NFL will obviously look and blah, 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 blah. So, but when you look at money and reach and just the landscape, Amazon seems to be the ideal place that could take all of this, swallow it up, and make something out of it.
Yeah, it makes the most sense with, like you said, the amount of money they have and just the kind of people that work in there, like with the streaming services they're able to provide.
By the way, if you have DirecTV stocks, sell it as soon as they lose Sunday Ticket.
No, I was like, who even has DirecTV?
Oh, I have no idea. Not me.
Probably the Scout. Let's get you locked in for that 10-year contract real quick.
The Scout's got like antennas. He's out there.
His wife's on the roof.
20 years, the whole deal. All right. So surprisingly, Chico, even without the beard, we have somehow made it 2 hours tonight.
Jesus.
You did.
We have one thing to let you guys know on that lottery parlay that I mentioned earlier. If you put $5 down on that, you're looking at a payout of $1,500. Don't forget about me when you're rich.
All right. Tell the scout I don't want to know about whatever long things he's smacking in his face over there. I don't. He doesn't say. So
That's
anyway,
a cable company out here, all right? That's all it is.
sure it is. Anyway, that's what they said about Cinemax back in the day at midnight. No, it's just
Cinemax.
I would say it's just bad reception.
The
Bad
glory
reception.
days. That was the golden era of television. I don't care what anyone says.
So Chico, fantastic
Yes.
job standing in there for the beard.
No problem. Thank you.
Obviously, we were on baby watch from the beard was going to try and hop on here a little bit ago, but things have changed. So hopefully, from what I was told, baby possibly here tomorrow.
Woo!
So hopefully good news on that front for the beard. Like I said, Friday night, if you have an Apple product, iPad, iPhone, whatever, download the app Colorcast. Me and the beard will be on there. 7:30, Sixers Nets. We'll be there for the whole game.
Lock it
talking
in.
about all kinds of stuff. I was gonna say, if you want a Ben Simmons rant, come there. It'll be all Ben Simmons rants.
Is
for
he
3
playing?
hours? Hell no. I highly doubt it. Highly doubt it. All right. But again, so standing in for the beard is Anthony Chico. I will say, I am the Bookie Dan. Thanks again for watching the show. As always, if you missed any of the show, or if you just prefer not to look at our faces, we are on all your places, iTunes, Spotify, yada, yada, yada. Go there. Again, like I said before, please comment. All I have is old comments on there from the old show. We'd like news comments. New comments are nice.
Yes.
So
go.
leave
Kill the like button. Subscribe. Like. Leave a comment.
You can even. I would say Chico was here. Comment about a stash. I don't care. Do it. You can also subscribe to the YouTube page so you know when we go live every week. It's usually Tuesday or Wednesday. Time fluctuates, but if you subscribe, you'll find out when we're up there. All right. But until next week, for the beard who was not here, for Chico, I'm Dan. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you later.
All right. Do I got to click anything?